Hello, this is Gerald Tuavamas. I realized that I had a lot of videos about Chinese characters that also have a lot of minutes to explain it, a lot of investigation there, a lot of blah, 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 blah. That is not the current way to learn, which where today everything has to go quickly, and in a way, the way how the recognition is spontaneously in what we hear and what we interpret also goes very quickly. So the most practical thing would be, if I had a theory, it also would go quickly, so that you have also quick access and quick comparison to use this in a practical way, in a general sense, not just in words, every word, and I remember it, and do I understand it? No, maybe not, and half it, can I remember it? No, I don't. Here I go to the quick and fast method. I think it's about time that I also tell you, not just sporadically, that every letter formation process should be recognizable in every Chinese character as well. So how it is pronounced, you can almost recognize it beforehand, and that makes it also more easy to remember. But how can you learn that, and how do I do that? Okay, that's the video about. The first foundation of our focus is the 1, 2, 3 method, let's say. So we have a distinction which goes automatically to what we notice into a 1, 2, 3 order. There's the numerical order of each letter, and that fits in there in a 1, 2, 3 three-dimensional space for some letters. In another focus of another 10 letters there about timing, and the last one is about time and space. I'm not going to explain them today. Today there will be explanations how we see and can recognize the letters almost as quickly as we do that unconsciously. This is the unconscious structure that 1, 2, 3 rules base themselves upon, and they go to that order. Basically, it's more like you see there underneath how it's built up. So we just go away from the center, and more distinct more elements, and all of these very distinctive features correspond to these letters. That's how it's built up, and we use that practically, but unconsciously, unfortunately, because for reasons that I have explained in other videos. But what we will do, instead of just seeing them just as focuses that deal with more and more elements and more movements and more reorganizations, so that you have 3 times 3 times 3 possibilities. Here we go to the basis that we can use to recognize Chinese script. So I will not use this slight separation in focus. What are the things that can be recognized most easily so that we can recognize them in the Chinese script? I will present them slightly different as contrasts. And here are the contrasts in the vowels, for instance. And here you can derive them actually more or less to these kind of patterns. They are derived to these patterns in a way that they become practical for this purpose, especially. So the A is the centered focus. Oh yeah, there goes the O outside the focus, or the U goes back inside. The E goes sideways in a way. The E takes something apart, and the Y is going away from the focus. These are the spatial big references that can be recognized actually quite quickly. The next things are the characteristics of what is really happening, not just what is the main focus, but what is really happening. So there could be, for instance, an enlargement, which you can present by the B, or an unfolding even to even more enlargements in the M, or you only look at a part or where it's growing, or where you have the borders so that you can have your focus upon that. These are also differences seen from the spatial platform that we have before us. Last kind of category, I will not take all the letters out of it, but I'll take some that will be practical for recognizing into the Chinese script. We have with the D we have a certain move that moves to somewhere else, so that its spatial frame also moves. And with the Z it moves inwards, and with the W it moves outwards. And with the N it's there's something moves from within. There are some of the moves that are in the letters. These moves are practical because also the Chinese characters not only have a structure, they also have moves or arrows or separate parts of signs within that character. And the last category of the context go of course to the differences in the spaces, like the H is you can derive it to a certain space, open space, let's say. The R is more like a connection. The G is the comparison to a bigger frame of a space, and the S an influence of another space which comes in. This is a formulation that makes it easy to use and that you can use to recognize in the characters. And of course what will happen a lot is you also have the letter N, which very much, I don't know a better word for it, is about transitions from, let's say, from one world to another. And let's start. I will have a lot of words in a very quick vision that you can immediately put the characteristics that I just have in the previous page, and you can compare them. I have here 3 words somewhat the same: ba, bai, and bai. Ba is 8. Bai is on white, and bai is also 100 with a different character. So you have the B, the breaking open, immediately visible, and with the A you have it's seen from a center. In Ba it's clear. Bai has the E there to it. E also says, oh no, I have a focus that I take out, and it comes actually from somewhere else. It's a bit of a recentering as well, which Bai is not just a center focus, but a center focus from a higher level. So the Bai is not just the center focus as a circle, it's also from a higher level, a concept like white, which you can divide into colors, of course, or 100, which you can divide into numbers, seen also from the abstract level on top that is written there. You can immediately recognize what's in the character, and you can recognize the sounds. Next one, S, or color. You see that you sense something, you take that out, which part you need to sense, and there's a part unfolding further, the color unfolding in its various colors as well. Tu, or earth, is also, I'm having a doubt if it's not tu, or I always make this mistake between u and u. I'm still having trouble now and then with some words, but you see that the T is focused into a part, and the U is taking a part down with the to, certainly going even more down to the earth. And the here character, which means from. You see here, there's with the D, it goes to destiny somewhere else. And the E is also about an extension, goes towards the extension, yes, you look for a destiny to somewhere else, or in the extension of, what is somewhere else from, of course. And the last one, Tai, you can recognize the T, it's narrowed down to a certain space. You have the A of the centering to it, and the E take something out of it. This might need a bit of explanation. You have the E, it takes a separate thing out, but it doesn't show its full context yet, so I'll ask a little bit help this time, because sounds aren't the only thing that should be recognizable. There's also a contextual frame. Each character fits into a frame of 4 squares into one big square, and this one big square is about let's say a whole year's of effort, which you divide it into the 4 seasons, and you tell us where exactly do we need to do something within our work during the year, and when and how is always described in this frame. Also here, the Thai, the characters of movement, which you have there in the Thai, that's that part that is taken out. You also always have it at the part which is emphasized. What is emphasized here? If you have the 4 seasons, you have the part of the the harvest and the harvesting and also after winter as well. It is actually at the end. It's more like at the end of the winter. You have some parts left. It's also part of the harvesting. The end of the harvesting. The really material, the end material that you have is always down there that you can take out. What you take out is also the position where you have much. For instance, you can take out of winter little things, or you have much. It's not a guarantee, but it's there. It's about quantity. The quantity is down there, so the position there for me, it fits well, and I remember it from that position on. I always say when I see something underneath and you see, okay, I take out, it's just material. It's raw material after the process. Now I know what I'm going to be able to take out, how much as well that I can take out, and that's what the reference is. Just another rather row of letters, the ta, which can be he or can be it, different symbol, but in the characters should be recognizable how it is pronounced. You have the T narrowed down to a certain position, and you have a center focus. This first character of ta is that foundation that you put there. It's the a, and then you have the position which is now he or it. You can remember it well, and you can recognize it. That it is about the centering position, which you narrow down to a functional position, a specified position. That's what the T letter is in my scheme about. Run or jeune is better, is associated with the letter R, but it is pronounced differently. But let's take the letter R, that it's a connection. You see that it's going sideways, and it's there's also switches in there, almost like the walking feet there as well, that connects you. The jeune is that kind of connection which man makes to everything that happens, and where he's speaking about, and what he's talking about, and what he's performing, and so on, and what he's dealing with. That's his level, actually. How, that's the space, which is center point. That's that first character. Is you can see that already there's an open space, and this space opens up with O, as you can see. Yeah, it is somewhat recognizable, even though it has that seed character inside as well, that he of course takes out and puts it into the environment that is happening as well. We also have the W actually in it's not how, it's how with the what which isn't described, and that's actually following up the process. W is always about, you follow up the process that you engaged, and see how far you can go with this engagement. That's the what, and this good is that engagement. Li, that is the formation and the taking out of something, which is partly recognizable here with its length that can go and continue further. It is not 100% recognizable, but you can remember and check the positions of the sounds out, and there's of course more into the character that's best to go into. Then you have da, which means big. You have this D again, this progression of space, which leads to something else, which can lead to a bigger space, but that doesn't say that necessary. But the A is at keeping a center focus, and when that background progress goes to somewhere else and enlarges in that way, it's that kind of formula that you have to be able to recognize in there as well. As a beginning of a timing process, by the way, a movement towards a progress, let's say. And as a last remark, I also will add that you also have these positions in tones, like the in Chinese script, which will make the designs sometimes the focus is also different. As at least that's what I noticed. I have this example here, for instance, in Hun, which means very. So you have this main focus, which is also described in the first part of the character, is that, you say, okay, here's my foundation, that's that middle foundation, and I have a part that I lift out, and that is my focus in the length of what I'm already focusing upon, and that's how it is recognizable that this can be associated with very. I think that's enough for the first video. I will make, let's say, 3 of them, and with some examples, random examples that I take out of my course of Chinese, and I will make sure I will take the short words out that don't look too complicated, and let's see if they fit and match with the foundations that I have already underneath. And that is practical to use, and maybe it is even much more practical to use even a lot of times to remember the sound associations that needs to be expressed in these words. Okay, thanks again for watching. Bye bye.